Hi everyone, this is Karen Hightower, design team member over at Stamp TV for Gina K Designs. Today I'm going to share this card project with you and show you how I did the Bokeh technique for the background. It's also pronounced bouquet, some people pronounce it that way. It is a photographer's term meaning blurred background or blurred lights. And so using two different size sponge daubers and some white ink, I'm going to give it a little blurred effect. It's a fun one to do, so let me show you a few things I used and we'll get started. I did use the Gina K Designs BoHo Flowers Mini Kit. Instead of using this U to stamp and then die cut it with the die that come with the kit, I am using a U greeting from Gina K Designs that she just came out with because it's a little larger and it does cut out the center of the U and the O. I mean the Y, excuse me, and the O. So I really like it. I already have it die cut. Let me see. Here it is. See? Move this out of the way. So that'll be really nice on that card. So I'm going to use that. I'm using an art stencil. It's called Foliage by Gina K. And here's the dies that come in the kit that I'll be using also to cut out the flowers and the leaves. I've also already went ahead and put the images on my MISTI. I have the little mini MISTI here. I've put the images on and then I inked it up with Versamark ink and already heat embossed it. So I have the flowers and the leaves all on there done. So you don't have to watch me do that. But I am going to ink them up. So let me zoom out here so you can see a little better. And I have Gina K Designs Turquoise C, Black Onyx. I have the Jelly Bean Green, Fresh Asparagus, and the white Pigment ink. I also use Versamark, and then I use Gina's Fine Detail White Embossing Powder to emboss these with. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a sponge dauber, the Turquoise C, and then I need the Fresh Asparagus. No, I'll do the Jelly Bean Green. Okay. So we'll start with the Turquoise C for the flowers. And all I'm going to do is start in the center and sponge out just to get it, because then I'm going to die cut these. And so we're just going to add the color. And then if you want to add some darker color, you can take the edge of your dauber and then you can just go in there and kind of paint the centers darker. Then I'm going to grab a paper towel and I'm going to wipe off the excess ink off the white embossing powder just to pick up any excess that might be on there. Then I will grab the green dauber that I have and ink it up with the Jelly Bean Green, and I'll just go over these little leaves. Oops. And you can do them any color you want. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. And then after I get all these cut out, I'm going to use this panel as a stencil. And then I'm going to grab this stencil. I think I will do it and then move the stencil and do a little more so I have a lot of foliage on the background. Okay, I have this big double-ended Nuvo stencil brush that I've really enjoyed using, and I'm going to grab the Jelly Bean Green ink and I'm going to ink it up and then just brush on the color. One thing I have found when I do this bokeh technique is if I do the background fairly light and I'm using the white ink for the bokeh, you don't see a whole lot of the blurred light effect. It seems just to fade the colors a little bit. I want it to look like the blurred light, so what I'm going to do is make the background relatively dark so it will show up this technique. This is the Fresh Asparagus, and I'm going to grab a smaller stencil brush and add a little more color to darken it up just a little bit in areas. So we're just going to add some more color. Okay, and then I want to move this because I want to fill in this area down here. So I have those two blended. And I'm going to grab this little cutout of our dies, and I'm going to use it for a stencil. And what I'm going to do is use this small one. I'm going to put sponge in a flower here. I want it to have the illusion of more flowers than there really are. So then I'm going to grab the big sponge dauber. And I think I will use Ocean Mist, but I'm just going to go in here and add a little color. I don't want it too heavy, but again, I wanted enough color that when I do my technique that the bokeh shows up well. So then all I have to do now is trim this panel down. So it's cut at 3 3/4 and 5 inches on here, and that will layer nicely. So then we're going to do the white ink. And we're just going to press down and spin it just a little, make little turns, so you have a good circle on there. And this is the large dauber, and then I'll go back with the small one and do small little lights, blurred lights. Now, where I live, the humidity is really high, and it takes this white ink a little while to dry. So I will hit it with the heat gun to help that dry out a little bit. And then here's the small sponge dauber. And then you just go in and add your little circles. And I'm just pressing and turning just a little bit. Press and turn. So we will let that dry some while we put the card base together and all that. Hopefully it'll give it a little time to dry. So what we're going to do is take our card base and the turquoise sea and the white, and we will layer this up on the inside real quick. And I also want to grab the little flower, and I'm going to stamp it in Ocean Mist on the inside. Okay, now that I have all my little pieces out, and this is drying a little bit, I'm going to take a little piece of scrap, and I'm going to grab the thinking of, and then I'll have the you is the word, so it'll be thinking of you. Grab my black Onyx ink, and I'm going to stamp this. Pardon my head if it gets in the way. There we go. So that is ready to be attached. Okay. Here's my U, and here's my panel. I think I will go ahead and attach it. So then you get to play with your little flowers on where you want them, how you want them placed. I'm going to snip this off, and I'm going to get my glue. I'm just going to use the Tombow multi-liquid glue because it's what I have handy. Okay, so then I will pop up this flower. Okay, so then we can add some leaves. And I like to add one up here across the greeting. And we'll lay the U on here again so we'll know where we want it. So I'm going to take these big foam squares. I was using the black ones earlier, but they're not as thick. And with the flowers popped up that high, I want to make sure that my U is just as high. So I need some on the O, and that's about it, really. And then I will add glue down this Y and on the U. And I'm going to tuck it in down here. I am going to cut just a little bit of it off so I don't have to tuck it as far. There you go. And then I'm going to flip it over and add some foam squares. And that's just about it for the card. Grab my card base. And we will attach it. Let me hold it up just a little bit so I can see. And that is the finished Bokeh Technique card. Come on over to Stamp TV and play along in our challenges. We would love to have you join us. Have a great day, and I hope you all get a chance to get a little inky.